There's no perfect investments. And that's the reason why there's Icon. People are going to talk to you about stocks. People talk to you about funds. People talk about the VOL. People talk to you about properties. People talk to you about business. We even have blockchain later on. Why? We need you to understand that there's no one perfect formula. That's why you have to diversify your investment. Very, very important as you learn all of these things is this. Practice due diligence in anything. In investing, in the bank, in an insurance, in a property, practice due diligence.
There is a law, natural law called the law of diminishing returns. So even if I add more, it will diminish because the capacity has to expand before you can expand.
Ano yung importante sa'yo? Walang tama o mali dito. Unfortunately, dahil nga sa ingay sa labas, hindi mo alam kung ano gusto mo talaga at importante sa'yo. Pag wala ka nito, sasama ka sa ibang tao. Kung ano importante sa kanila, join ka din. So it is very important to find out ano ang gusto mo because eventually, lahat yan nanggagaling sa beliefs.
The economy was created to serve society in order to improve our human condition. So as part of the economy, as investors, you're supposed to be contributing to a better society for everyone.
Leverage is a very aggressive strategy. Proceed with caution. Never borrow money that you cannot pay. Yes. And I think this is just to open your minds about leverage. And this is really how the wealthy businessman thinks.
It is only by tracking your finances you'll be able to know how to maneuver, how to control, and you'll see ano ba yung lifestyle mo that you want to maintain from today until you age.
What we are good at in the market is this. We are good at helping incubate the growth of vendors because we know everybody in the ecosystem. We know people who finance, we know people who provide HR, we know people who provide marketing, we know people who provide sanitation and hygiene. So we are the best people to grow those businesses.
So, why is understanding money critical for women, OFWs, and the next generation? Why? Because what is a nation but a collection of its people?
It's about our personalities, and it has a deep and it has a big impact in everything that we do, including how we handle money, including how we make decisions, and how we keep money, make money, save, and actually invest.
So stocks, recurring assets, recurring income assets, and fast capital appreciation assets. Those are the three things that we have to hold during our lifetime and work for. The second thing is, I'm very excited about the future. I am not bullish because there are many other things we have to sort out before I become bullish, but the future looks very bright.
Financial expert years, just like Marvin, just like Rex, Carl, Jason, the rest of the team, they could update you. But I strongly advise that you also take your personal journey. Read their books, try to read, try to expand your knowledge.
I want whatever is said here will cause you to execute and do something. Because it's time for Filipinos, it's time for you guys to prosper. Why? Because we're the 1%. Your friends are looking at you. The more Filipinos, good Filipinos, have more than enough, you get to be a blessing to the people around you. When you have more than enough, you're now looking for people who you can bless and who you can so. And for me, the stock market is one of the best ways for you to do it. I suggest you invest now because this is one of the best times to invest.
Overcoming obstacles create momentum. Today is momentum. You know why? You paid money for this seminar. It starts something. It is starting something because you're creating something that gets the ball rolling.
All right. So good evening, everyone. We're gonna have a very interesting Q&A session. So that was like snippets of Icon 2019, and for the first time again, we're doing it. We're doing it live again, face to face. Ngayon lang natin gagawin ulit yun. For this very special live stream, we have a very smart and interesting guy joining us. I think he's still fixing, so I'll be solo muna in the screen right now. But this is a very live and very raw session. So feel free to ask whatever questions you have. We have a very, very special person na, ano yan, 30, 40 plus years na sa financial industry, and I hope na matutulungan niya kayo sa kung ano man questions niyo also. And yun din, um, for those that are in this stream, we also have some promos to give away as part of Icon 2023. So, without much ado, we have Randall Chongson also. And ano yan, he was the guy who formulated Icon talaga. Talaga yung heart and soul of everything that's happening. So, Randall, okay, are you okay there already?
Yeah,
You
yeah. I told you kanina I was having problem with my laptop, so I had to shift to use my phone. Pasensya na sa gulo ng likod ko, no, but you know, it's a messy place. So ayan, yan. So again, thank you Marvin for arranging this live stream. It's been a while, no, since
Hmm.
we've been doing this live stream together, no. I think so. Ayan, it's nice to be here, and what an
May,
honor to be guested by the one and
there's
only
a
Marvin.
There's a special comment from our friend from Dubai. Sabi niya, hello daw, super pogi, Randall Chongson. So, pero wala tayo dito para sa bolahan. Nandito tayo
Oo
para
nga.
sa tanong ng mga tao also. Ako, before I go to the mga questions ng mga ano ng mga tao, ano muna tayo? May tatanong ako sa iyo, tapos may tatanong ka sa akin, tapos
Go, sige. Sige.
we go with the questions of other people. And ito, very interesting question, and lalo na for you, I think you have been exposed in the mutual fund industry and the finance industry for a very, very long time. Madami nagtatanong na, pag nag-invest ka sa equity funds, long term, you're supposed to make money. But we're here right now, 2023, and when you look at it also, a lot of people have invested 5, 7, 10 years also, it's not working for them. What is something that you can advise them, or you think because talaga down na
Yeah.
talaga yung market and things will get better soon?
Well, I guess siguro, no, yung performance sa atin in the last 5 to 6 years has been so, I think lackluster is not the right term for it, no. It's been very, very challenged with the pandemic, before in the government and so many things that are happening. Sobrang talagang challenges. So the market is responding to the many challenges that we're experiencing right now, the lockdowns and everything. And after that, now the inflation, now the looming recession. So it's dampened the spirit. So again, when you invest in the market, you have to understand, when you talk about long term, nare-redefine na what long term eh. Kasi before, pag sinabi mo long term, 5, 6 years na. Ngayon, I think we're going back to the more traditional perspective of long term, which is 10, 15, 20 years. No? So the horizon now changes, especially with what's happening right now. So I think it's very important for you to, number one, dapat diversify the portfolio. I mean, I still put money in the equity fund. I still add on to it. I still believe it's going to be a good avenue for long-term planning. But at the same time, you also have to diversify also. No? So, yan yung challenges. Ako sa akin, hold on to it. I think it's still gonna recover. I mean, we are bullish in the next 2 to 3 years. When everything settles, I think it's gonna see a drive in the market in the coming 2 years or 3 years, and then in moving forward.
Got it. So, ano talaga siya, no? Parang, and I think I was talking about this with Salvador Plito over the past few days, na parang, if 10 years yung time horizon, natamaan din talaga siya nung mataas yung market eh. 5 years yung horizon,
Yeah.
high din nung market. So parang, is it safe to say also that timing also has an element to it, na if you buy at the highest point, tapos markets drop, you have to really wait longer also, parang
I
ganun.
think your strategy also plays a big role. Eh. So example, even if you bought the market when it was high, so whenever you see some correction and then you add on to that market, you kind of average out well. Kaya minsan may advantage talaga yung mga nagko-cost average over, especially if you've done it in the last 5 to 10 years. Kasi you bought when it's high, you bought when it's low. So you're gonna get a good average. So again of the day, time is important, but some form of timing, siguro some variation in your strategy would also work for you.
Got it. So, eto gagawin ko. Gusto ko challenge kita sa live stream na to, and para sa mga nanonood. Yung challenge ko, gusto mo, di tayo titigil sa live stream hanggang masagot natin lahat ng comments. Kaya.
Okay. Hanggang oras tayo dito.
Okay. So, para at least yung mga magko-comment dyan, comment lang kayo ng comment, tapos para we will answer your questions. And then, sige, go. I'll answer your question, then we'll take all of their questions. We'll take all of their questions as well. Are you?
Yan, sige. So Marv, ikaw muna, no? I'm just gonna put my headpiece para I'll have a better audio. Because I was prepared for my laptop, not prepared for the phone.
Sige.
So, take over muna, Marvin. Give me a minute or two.
I'll,
I
I'll,
just
I'll
put my
an-
headpiece.
okay, I'll answer some questions. Okay, we have a question from Ken. So, guys, this is an Ask Me Anything session that you can ask as much questions as you want, and then I'll try my best to be able to answer you. Me and Randall will try our best to answer you. And then if may special guest tayo later, if they can also chime in and send in their answers also. And then, yun, all of this is brought to you by our event that we're having, Icon 2023, which is happening in 2 weeks now, which is in Samsung Hall. So, yun, put in as much questions. Yun yung promise ko. We won't stop this live stream until we answer all of your questions. So, if Randall drops off, I'll still stay to be able to answer your questions. Okay, we have our first question. This was sent off YouTube from Ken. Sir, if you go back from where you started investing and you both have knowledge about crypto and stocks, would you go all in on crypto? That's a good question, no? So I'll answer it 2 ways. Okay, number one is I if I would put all of my money in crypto right now, I would still be comfortable na hindi ako matatakot na ilagay lahat ng pera ko sa crypto. Pero kung gagawin ko 'yun, maybe not. I'm still a big fan of portfolio allocation. I'm a big fan of diversifying my portfolio into different asset classes. And lalo na ngayon, I'll share this. If you've been watching my videos, you've probably heard this also that I'm turning 40 years old this year, and it became a reality check also for me that there will be certain assets on the way I would deploy assets and yung approach ko sa investments sobrang iba na ngayon compared to say 12 years ago nung 28 years old ako, and that's what I want you guys to get, that it's not just a function of knowledge and experience and how much conviction you have also, but it's also a, how do I say this? It's also a combination of nasa na kayo, gaano na kayo katandaan, ano na yung kailangan nyo sa pera nyo. Kasi pag bata ka, I think it's very important that you focus on growing your portfolio. You focus on paano mo siya mapapalaki. Pero pag tumatanda ka na, yung essence na you want to have a position sa portfolio na balance out yung mga riskier positions nyo, and you also want to have a part of your portfolio na nagbibigay sa inyo ng cash flow. So, to answer your question, um, would would I go all in? I probably would be comfortable going all in, pero I wouldn't do it because I know that I have to balance out my portfolio. And maybe because you're asking the 40-year-old version of Marvin Germ already. If you ask this question na uh 28 ako, most likely, and I would always say this na parang what if I would give myself advice also before, I would tell myself na ano I should have bought Apple stock when I was younger. Yung mga ganung things na I should have done when I was relatively younger as well. So yun, Ken, I hope I was able to satisfy your question. Comment below if it was something that was satisfactory to you. Mukhang may problem pa din si Randall Chongson sa kanyang camera. I'll answer the next question. So keep on putting your questions below and we'll do our best to be able to answer them. And by the way, no, sa mga nagtatanong, bakit di ako masyado nagla-live stream na lately? Medyo nahirapan ako to talk long periods, and every time you do a live stream, 1 hour, 45 minutes, even sometimes more than an hour. That's why I enjoy yung mga YouTube videos kasi 8 minute lang. It doesn't strain my voice as much. But anyways, let's go to, and I'll let Randall answer this na lang. I think so. Thumbs up if you're okay, Mr. Chongson. Are you there? Okay, I will bring him in. This is a good question from Gilda Galeto. Sir Marvin, pero this is addressed to Randall Chongson. Ano magandang investment ngayon, lupa or gold? So, May 2023, maybe two-prong. Kung ikaw, Randall Chongson, ano unahin mo, lupa or gold? And then, for the general public, what's a parang financial planning answer for that also?
Okay. Ako, syempre, I'm biased with lupa, no? Because, number one, I invest there. Parang, me and my family were able to buy properties and land in the past, no? We don't really invest it. I don't remember investing in gold. So wala akong experience with gold, only with land. Sa akin yung gold, it's good, it's nice to have, pero I prefer land over gold because doon ako may experience. Not because it's better, it's because sa akin mas madali siya intindihin. And that's the reason why I
choose land over gold, no? One thing I realized about land, that's why sa akin mas gusto ko land, I don't see the volatility of prices with land as against something that I see in gold. Yes, gold is a good holder of value, pero may volatility pa rin siya. I don't see that in land, and or at least I've never experienced that in land.
Tsaka,
Sa lupa.
parang,
Kaya,
are you there? Did you check?
yeah.
Tsaka parang yung mahirap sa gold, parang pag gusto mo ibenta, parang mahirap siya
Oo.
mabenta. So,
Well, in fairness naman, ganoon din naman sa lupa, mahirap din naman siya ibenta. No? Pero mas may use kasi ang lupa kasi ginagamit eh. As in, ang gold hindi naman talaga siya, kumbaga, wala naman talaga use for that eh. So, holder value lang. Unless gagawin mo alahas, di ba?
and medyo niche siya na in a way na hindi, yung real estate mas mahirap din mabenta yung siya ganun ka-liquid, pero madaming may agent na magbebenta para sa iyo. Tapos it's easier, pwede ka maglagay ng karatula na binibenta mo tong ano to. Sa gold di mo magagawa kasi nanakawan ka pag alam
At
nila
saka
may
ang lupa lagi namang there's always going to be a demand for it. So, siguro it's an issue of timing lang din naman, tsaka pricing. Kasi iba naman nagbebenta ng lupa, masyadong mataas yung asking nila, kaya hindi nila nabebenta.
Okay, fair, good answer. Connected to that, may question si Neil Batty. Condo ba magandang investment ngayon? Lalo na pag may promo. Siguro they're asking, ito yung mga pre-selling. Do you so parang a good structure na question. Do you advise na pre-selling pero maghintay ka 5 years or bili mo na yung available ngayon tapos mag-loan ka na lang tapos pwede ka
So yan. So Marvin, lahat yan may pro and con, no? May pro ang pre-selling, may pro ang RFO, they call it RFO, ready for occupancy, no? Ang advantage breakdown natin, ang advantage ng pre-selling is mababa yung capital outlay mo. So kadalasan yan, 'di ba? Yung down payment yan, you will wait for the next 2 to 3 years pa. May promo sila, stretch yung down payment mo. So it gives you enough time to wait it out para maka-build ka ng capital mo. Para enough na siya para kunyari ipa-finance mo siya. So yun yung advantage niya. The good thing about that, pag binili mo siya ng pre-selling, nilock in mo na yung price mo. So you bought the price 3 years ahead. Parang kaya ganoon yung price niya. Yung RFO naman, advantage niyan, pwede mo nang gamitin, pwede mo na paupa, pero mas mahal. So again, you have to be able to just identify ano yung need mo and at the same time, ano yung capacity mo. That's the kumbaga the two ways to be able to buy land or condo. So maganda rin yung question niya, okay ba ang condo? Yan. Again, babalik yan, depende ano purpose mo. Primary house mo ba yan? Gagamitin mo ba yan? Kasi ngayon, dati sinasabi natin, maganda ang condo kasi, di ba, malapit yan sa trabaho and everything. And then, nauso yung work from home. So, people say, hindi maganda ang condo, mas maganda bumili ng lupa sa, let's say, out of town. Pero ngayon, bumabalik na naman tayo sa work from home kasi some offices, they really prefer, bumabalik na sa face-to-face kasi they really prefer face-to-face for productivity reasons. So meron siyang use lagi, meron siyang need para dyan, and I think it's going to be a good idea. Again, maganda yan for long-term positioning. As long as naintindihan mo yung pinapasok mo. Maganda lang sa condo rin kasi, meron siyang capital appreciation, maybe not as fast as siguro prime lands in subdivisions, pero kasi meron siyang rental capacity, rental income. Lalo na kung nabili mong condo, magandang location.
Got it. So, ano rin, pero, does it merit also na yung parang concern ng mga tao ngayon na mas parang nag-appreciate yung mga nasa labas ng Metro Manila, yung mga landed na lugar also. Hindi pa...
Sige, Marvin, you need to understand that market will always react to what's happening around. The reason why yung land outside Metro Manila nag-fast, kasi we are coming from a lockdown. Kasi for the first time, naramdaman ng tao na pwede pala mag-lockdown. Nang hirap pala nakatira sa metro, ang hirap pala nakakondo pag nagkaroon ng lockdown. Paano pag magkaroon ulit ng pandemya? Paano magkaroon ulit ng ganito situation? So they realized na mas maganda. That's the price that you were seeing, reaction yan sa ano nangyari. Now, question is, will this be the future? Will this continue to be as such? Sa akin, I think land became, siguro, sa lahat ng mga instruments, no, sa lahat ng mga investments, land became the one that performed well, especially after the pandemic. Kasi they wanted to security. They want security. They don't want the volatility. So, yung condo, okay, medyo nag-take back step muna dun sa land na malayo, let's say out of town. Magbabanggit na ako sa Valley, mga ganyan area, no? So, mas gusto na ng tao doon kasi pwede. Pero, ngayon, nata-challenge na ba yung perspective kasi nga, na-realize yung schools, bumabalik na, face-to-face na yung schools, yung offices, pumapayag na ng hybrid, pero meron na rin face-to-face. So, bumabalik na rin. So, that's why condos right now are beginning to be filling up again. At least that's the experience that nakita namin itong 2023. So, with that, akit uli ang rental income, akit uli ang demand for that. So, price will now begin to appreciate once more the way it did before. Pero it will take time. Yeah.
Got it. So, long-term play siya. So, condo, property, long-term play, very, very less volatile. Let's proceed to crypto if you're willing to answer crypto questions. Pero before that, I want to inform people about Icon. Those who don't know about it, I want to flash it here also, and maybe you can. What's the heart of why Icon exists as well?
Sige. Alam mo, Marvin, we've been doing this and I started this with my friend si Marvin. Chichismis ko lang kung bakit, no? This 10 years ago, we started this, 2013. I remember this idea. Kwento ko lang backtrack, no? I was doing smaller events and everything. Ito si Marvin, napaka I think you were 29 years old back then, Yung sobrang niyang bullish, sabi niya, Nino, gawin natin to. Let's do big. Sabi ko, kaya ba natin yan? And then, ang lakas na loob ni Marvin, kaya natin, mag-SMX tayo. Sabi ko, kinabahan ako, sige, bahala na. And then, it was history, malaki siya, So, the heart behind Icon, just to remind people, baka nakalimutan rin Marvin, remember, there were many conferences that were being run at that time, 10, 12 years ago. And then, pag nakuha namin yung feedback, nakikita namin ni Marvin yung narinig na yung feedback, disappointed sila dun sa mga, sa mga output. Kasi, binibentahan sila, nagbenta lang daw yung speaker, puro ganun yung nangyayari. So we came up with the idea of Icon. At the same time, lalaglag ko si Marvin, si Marvin was an up-and-coming superstar back then. Sabi ko, Marvin, partner with me, let's do Icon, and this is going to be your launching ground. 10 years after, Marvin is the big Marvin today. Ako, alalay na lang ni Marvin ngayon. So that's the story, and I'd like to thank everybody who took part of this 10-year journey of ours. Di ba, dami nagbago, tumanda na si Marvin. Nagbago siya di ba, naging crypto guy na. So, dati stock market lang marinig mo sa kanya. So, yun ba rin. So, ako, I've always been happy that we were able to do this. And then, sabi ko, i-retire na ba natin to? But, sabi ni Marvin, no, let's go for our 10th year. So, yeah, that's why we have the 10-year celebration of Icon.
But I think what's interesting for this year is may mix yan ng traditional and crypto investors. So parang it's a journey also kung paano
It's funny, no, Marvin, that 10 years ago, if we talk about crypto, parang we're saying that, it's a scam and stuff like this. Pero 10 years after, no, we're actually doing parang we're going to talk to the crowd with both, no? There's the traditional and the DeFi, no? So, makita mo naman, no? So, 60-40, 50-50, half speakers are about traditional, some half speakers are about DeFi. So, yan. So, you're seeing right now yung QR code. Please, itapat nyo yung telepono dyan, QR code, because, pwede ko na ba i-announce, Kuya Marvin?
Yeah, sige, okay lang. Yeah. For this live stream.
Okay, just for tonight, for this live stream lang. And I want to thank our sponsors, Ayala Land, sa Avida Land, Sun Life, Atram, lahat po nung nag-support sa amin because they are because of that, we can have this promo. So, thank to our sponsor, may promo tayo. If you put your phones here, tingnan niyo yung screenshot na yan, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is probably one of the cheapest ticket that you can get into Icon. So Marvin, siguro details ikaw na magsabi.
Yeah, details are in the QR code, pero I'll put the link also. Pero lalabas siya, it's buy one take two. But just for this live stream, so I think the link will be here after also.
So if you buy one ticket, you're going to be given 2 extra. to bring a friend, to bring a loved one, a partner, so whoever. Bahala na kayo sino gusto nyo dalhin. But this is made possible courtesy of our sponsors because they've been supporting us since for many, many years. So again, thank you to all our sponsors. Kaya tayo merong promo ngayon. And this is just for the live stream lang. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Anyways, so let's continue with our Q&A. May question dito. What's your analysis on crypto and BTC? Do you want to answer first, or do you want me to answer?
Go. That's a question for you.
Okay. If you're asking the past few days, bumaba kasi siya because of nagkaroon ng congestion sa network, and then people were scared about what was going on. Tapos nagkaroon pa ng point. I think it capitulated also when yung sa Binance, which is the largest exchange in the world, they had to pause withdrawals because of yung fees na sobrang taas. So always remember this, na Bitcoin is a sentiment indicator sa market. That's what it basically is. What happens to Bitcoin, everything follows. So with that happening, it caused a bit of it caused a bit of it's not something exciting when the fees are higher. Pero I think over the long term, this is something that's good, because if you've seen some of the disclosures kahit sa Binance, they're gonna now use the Lightning Network, which for those who don't know, the Lightning Network is something that's built off Bitcoin, which will make transactions faster. Yung people this Bitcoin kasi mabagal, hindi siya parang ibang mga blockchains na pwede mong lagyan ng theoretically as of now, hindi mo pwede lagyan ng smart contract, pero it's good at what it does. It's scarce, it's decentralized, and it's the most secure network ever. Ngayon, because of this congestion, I think it will bring faster adoption towards the Lightning Network. And I don't know if you know this, Randall. Pag nag-Lightning Network ka, which is built on top of Bitcoin, suddenly yung fees sobrang bagal, sobrang liit, tapos yung transaction sobrang bilis, and pwede ka magpadala ng pera or ng kahit anong currency na gamit yung Bitcoin at a very, very fast rate. So, para sa akin, exciting kasi dun na natin makita na Bitcoin as money, kasi yung whole talk ngayon, Bitcoin is digital gold eh. Pero when you build things on top of Bitcoin, that's where money-like functions will also happen. And totoo naman na mabagal siya, pero people need to realize this, we're at the 12th, 13th year of Bitcoin in existence. It's something that's new, and madami pa magkakaroon ng adoption or there will be more improvements that will happen towards Bitcoin, that yung iteration niya 20, 30 years in the future might be different from kuning na pagdaanan or yung unang nalaman natin ngayon. So, yun.
Okay. Marvin, I have a question. I mean, again, that will siguro trigger and usher yung mass adoption, no? Which is really, really important. So, Marv, I have a question for you. Would you buy Bitcoin over gold or gold over Bitcoin? So, Bitcoin or gold? What's your answer?
So, I first, sa unang investments na nakuha ko, I first had gold than Bitcoin. Pero if you will ask me May 2023, what will I like more? I'll buy Bitcoin kasi yung gold naman di mo madadala yan kahit saan eh. Yung Bitcoin, you can go anywhere. It's in the blockchain, you can access it anywhere. Yung gold, kunyari madami kang gold, how will you store it? How will you keep it? How will you protect it? Yun naman yung issue sa gold eh. Gold theoretically is one of the most scarce commodities and assets out there, and yung value niya galing sa scarcity niya. Pero kahit galing sa scarcity niya, it's hard to transport, it's hard to keep, it's hard to protect, or kung if you want to transport it, it's very, very hard. Yung Bitcoin, na-solve niya ng problem na yun. And that's
if
why,
Marvin, okay. So what if you're using derivative of gold? So parang it's earmarked on the price. So it mimics the prices, pero it's a derivative of gold. Would you consider that more?
Okay, so that's something that's very interesting from a scarcity standpoint alone. However, if you buy a derivative of gold, that means nakalagay siya sa bangko or sa financial institution, meaning centralized siya. You don't just buy Bitcoin dahil scarce siya. You buy Bitcoin kasi decentralized siya, meaning it can never be shut down. No one can take it away from you. If you buy a derivative of gold, magsara yung bangko na yun, di lahat nung tinap mo, because gold is something that is a hedge sana, wala rin siya. You don't have access to it.
So parang it defeats the purpose, no, or buying it.
Hindi kasi if you're after a hedge sa presyo, pwede, But Bitcoin kasi is more than that eh. Bitcoin
Yeah.
gives you the ability na pwede mo makatago ng something na no one can take away from you. And kung nakita mo yung sa States, the past few months, ang dami nagbagsakan na bangko tsaka financial institutions also.
Okay. And one of the things that I've seen siguro now that we're 10 years na rin sa Icon, ano, younger people, particularly millennials, even the Gen Z, mukhang mukhang pagpasok nila, yung those with security, hindi na dumadaan ng gold, dediretso na ng Bitcoin. Is that a trend that you see?
And even sa traditional investments, I've seen a lot of people go na leapfrog nila yung stocks, na leapfrog nila yung bonds.
Yeah.
Sa crypto. And pati in terms of sa numbers also, parang when I was starting out, sabi ko, pangarap ko magkaroon ng 1 million people investing in the stock market sa Philippines, which na-achieve naman natin. However, yung sa Bitcoin, they got 1 million way back already. Yung usapan yung 1 billion users into Bitcoin. So, feeling ko, dahil it's easier to understand and it's easier to actually even open an account. Now you can open an account in minutes versus yung mga traditional counterparts niya, it takes a lot of time for you to be able to actually open it also.
Is that sentiment still true? Is it true sa Philippines pa rin?
I think yung mga traditional investments have gotten better also. Pwede mag-go-in online, mag-upload ka ng mga forms. Hindi na siya katulad dati na pupunta pa talaga sa office, nagdadala ako ng ID picture, nagdadala ako ng mga forms to be able to do it. It's faster na, pero sa abroad na stocks tsaka sa crypto, it's relatively faster and they're using technology talaga na pwede nang yung picture mo galing na sa camera, yung passport mo, it's uploaded.
And also we also note that it's borderless. So hindi ka mukha tatayo ka ng investment, nasa abroad ka, tapos bibili ka ng may mga restrictions. Crypto kind of removes those restrictions, so and real borderless. So guys, if you have any questions, post nyo lang. I'm reading off, so si Marvin may control, but I can see the questions. So if you have any questions for Marvin, me, again, while we're talking about crypto, talk about Bitcoin, it's not the only topic, we can talk about personal finance, we can talk about anything, about inflation, economics. So we'll try to as best to answer your question.
I have a very Randall Chongson question dito, galing kay Ferrero Mendoza. I already have insurance. Should I get a whole life insurance or health insurance first? Any insurance products recommended? Ang dami po kasing available. I'm in my 20s with an emergency fund, stocks, REITs, and MP2. So galing, 20s, emergency fund, stocks, REITs, MP2 na. So meron na rin siyang VL.
Parang Marvin Guillermo ba pangalan mo, Mr. Mendoza? Si Marvin ganyan, Si Marvin, pagka-graduate ng college.
Rex Mendoza to.
Ferrero. Okay, sa akin, I think going back to what is insurance, it's protection. So, the reason why you buy insurance is you want to be protected from the uncertainty of life. Health, loss of life, and serious physical breakdown. Yun yung mga concerns mo. VUL, kumbaga, just enhances what our insurance is. It's still protection, pero baka naman pwede rin tayo mag-invest. That's why it becomes VUL. So sa akin is, your priority should be protection first. Okay? So dapat yan. Health insurance should be that. Now, VUL can also act like a protection with a plus. Of course, you have to pay for that extra. Pero kasi, meron din part ng pera mo na naka-invest. So, kung nag-umpisa ka na sa VUL, pwede mong, siguro kung wala pang health coverage yan, pwede kang bumili ng panibagong insurance na term with the health just to augment, para make sure na you have enough protection. That's the reason why you're doing that. Pero congratulations, Mr. Mendoza, because in your 20s, you have an emergency fund, your stocks, your REITs, your MP2. Just continue to do what you're doing and you're gonna be as rich as Marvin Guillermo by the time in your 30s.
So what would you, if it was you, health or whole life?
Whole life, kumbaga, whole life is
it's
an insurance of the past. Personally, I'm not a big fan of whole life anymore. Kasi parang you're paying for, I'd rather go get a health cover. So for me, that's more important. Especially since you're already investing, nag-MP2 ka, nag-REIT ka, nag-stocks ka. So yung health is, for me, should be your priority.
Got it. Ito interesting. Okay, dalawa yung nilagay niya pero pagdudugtugin ko na lang. So, we'll answer both na lang. Parang interesting to. If you have 10 million pesos, where will you put it? MP2 or real estate? Just one answer. So, yung nagtatanong na to, meron daw siya ibang investment, so hindi diversification yung purpose. Parang yung criteria niya, which one do you think has the best return specifically? If ikakaltas yung expenses like tax loan, interest rate, etc. Ikaw, 10 million pesos.
Alam mo, hindi kasi apples to apples yung question mo eh. Kasi one of the things, MP2 will be good at giving you returns and dividends. Pero property will give you better in terms of capital appreciation in the long run. So yun yung advantage niya. So unless, di ba, kasi MP2 pwedeng palakihin mo yan, pero you're limited to 5-6% return in the last maybe the next 10 to 15 years. The advantage, and it can actually go down. The advantage of property is it can give you a higher compounded annual growth rate eh. Pero again, depende kung saan mo binili. Kasi well-placed property investments, as in, of course, posh villages and stuff like that, has given you 15, 16, 18, 20% CAGR in the last 20 years. So, in that answer, then property is good. Pero question is, mabibili mo ba yung ganong klase property? Okay, so again, hindi. So, the question has...
I'll stop lang sandali. Ano yung, para hindi malito yung ibang viewers, when you said CAGR, can you explain what CAGR is to them? Baka they don't know what CAGR is.
Okay, compounded annual growth rate is the amount of money that you... Ito yung kinita mo year in, year out. So, parang yun ang return, yun ang yield mo, CAGR. So, ito talaga yung lumaki pera mo. Kasi, ang dali naman upitin eh. Let's say, yung 10,000 per square ko, naging 20,000 per square, so 100% yan, di ba? Pero ginawa mo yan over the last 15 years. So ano talaga yung return yan every year? Yun yung CAGR.
So, okay. Sorry. Sorry for disrupting.
Madali tingnan niya kasi sa MP2 kasi every year nagdideclare ng dividendo eh. Pero sa property, hindi mo nakita yan. And true, meron niyang doc stamps, meron niyang capital gain. So when you net it out, that's gonna be... Again, ang hirap kasi sabihin kasi if, let's say, si Marvin likes to buy properties in Ayala Alabang, Forbes Park. So, okay, iba yung return nun. But ako, the way I've seen it, particularly on villages or residential houses and some commercial areas, they've really appreciated way ahead of inflation, way ahead of many instruments. Pero again, hindi rin lahat. Kasi meron din mga property na ang bagal naman. I was tracking a property in a place that I like, Antipolo, no? So, ang ganda ng Antipolo, ang ganda ng development, ang ganda ng tumira doon. Pero nakita ko, ang pangit naman ng CAGR niya. Di ba? Parang ang bagal. So, iba-iba yan as against other places. So, again, meron din tayong fluke kasi, Marvin, no? Property after the pandemic was medyo on the high side yung appreciation niya because it's a knee-jerk reaction of the lockdowns eh. So, you have to balance it out first.
I think yung sagot dyan, if yung person likes guaranteed yung capital niya, tapos gusto niya tax-free, tapos gusto niya wala nang hassle, yung parang ayaw na niya mag-marketing sa lupa later on, ayaw na rin niyang hassle din kasi magbabayad ka pa ng tax every year. Parang there's a lot of things that are connected also to real estate. Parang yung pinaka-stress.
Pero ano lang just to be clear, hindi naman hassle lang. Alam mo, you can pay your real estate tax 2 years, 3 years already. Alam mo ba yan? No? Sorry. One of the property, I paid 3 years already for that.
2 years. Totoo.
Para mas pero ito yung difference eh. Again, factor din yan. Ano yung objective mo or anong edad mo? Diba, kunyari 25 years old, 30 years old ka, I would probably recommend that you take property. Pero kunyari, you're closer to my age, di ba? Magki-senior na. Di ba? Baka maganda ng MP2 kasi ayoko na ng hassle. Di ba? So, again, I can use time as my advantage or I don't have the time. Kasi depende rin sa edad mo yan. That when you're old, you're really more about convenience and simplicity rather than other things. So, yun yung mga factors that you have to consider. Pero at the end of the day, hindi yan either eh. Sa akin dapat yan end eh.
Tapos siguro sa akin yung lamang ng real estate is long term, mas malaki kikitain niya because may capital appreciation pa, tapos if you make it produce something, pared mo or something, meron ka pang additional nakita. Sa MP2, wala ka ng capital appreciation. You just get the dividends on a regular basis. Speaking of dividends,
Although maganda naman yung return niya. So, maganda naman yung dividend niya in fairness.
tax-free. Sa real estate, may ano ka pa, capital gains, etc. Speaking of dividends, ikaw, what do you like in terms of REITs? Do you have like top 3 or top 4 na REITs na gusto mo? Then I'll also answer.
Ako, the REITs that I like, I really look at the quality of the assets. That's why for me, number 1 na REIT sa akin, ano pa rin, Ayala pa rin. Kasi the quality of the assets that they have. Then there are others that are good also. Robinson's a good REIT. And then there are REITs that I don't like kasi hindi quality yung assets nila. So, I would do some research also. Do I like the properties that in the REIT? Kasi pwede yung REIT, pag tinignan mo naman yung nakalagay sa sample, pwede naman ng REIT pa puro pogo. So, medyo highly volatile yung laban ng REIT ko. So, makikita mo yun, the price will eventually reflect that ultimately, and even the dividends ultimately will be affected.
Got it. Sa akin, I like C-REIT because of its yield, and I like C-REIT because yung lease is 30 years, and I like C-REIT because very very long yung exposure niya is something that's parang that will be part of the world already over the next century or so. So anything connected to that, I really like, and I've been a fan of that industry for quite some time. So yield industry, long term yung rent, tas alam ko hindi mawawala yun. Tapos para lang matuloy yung mabuko yung apat, maybe M-REIT, A-REIT, and also RCR also. Primarily also M-REIT, I know the properties very well. A-REIT, that's what Randall said, it's very very quality also. And then parang yung binabayaran din kasi sa Ayala yung brand eh. That's why it also attracts yung companies na nandun. May certain name din yung companies that go to the Ayala properties also. So I think that's part of it also. Do you have a take? May tanong dito. Do you have a take about the SM REIT? Do you like that? What's your, do you have any sense of it?
It will be dependent kung ano lalagay nila sa loob ng SM REIT nila.
Pag nag-evolve na nga yung SM through the years eh. Kasi yung SMP, dati so for those who are new to the stock market, 10 years ago, yung SMDC nasa stock market pa yan. And then yung SM Prime nasa stock market also. Then they merged it a couple of years ago. So yung property arm niya tsaka yung mall arm, it's into one big conglomerate na siya. Tapos yung SM Prime's under SM pa. From Mark Magsombol, the promo code is in the comment section. You can check it either in Facebook or YouTube.
Or labas po yung QR code ngayon.
Okay, lalabas ko yung QR code dito. How do I do this? Ayan, that's the QR code. It's flashing there. It's for buy one, take two, and it will only be available for this
during the live stream.
So probably until the next few hours for later on. So that's for you, Mark. Fortune telling question. Kailan po mangyayari ang bull market? So siguro up to you. Paano masagutin? Philippine stock market, US stock market, crypto. Kailan mangyayari to? And given your siguro 40 years ka na sa financial industry, no?
That's 30. Teka. Nagko-compute ako. 35 years.
Does forecasting really work?
No.
Yung parang gigas mo yung dito mangyayari yung market, aakyat na siya ng ganito.
Ang titignan mo trends, hindi forecasting.
Okay.
So that's something that you need to understand. But alam mo, sobrang dami ng volatility. Nobody forecasted pandemic. Nobody forecasted people can, in hindsight, sinabi namin yan before. But really at the end of the day, you still have to do your fundamentals. You have to diversify well. So sa akin talaga, it's create. Alam mo, Marvin, over the years, one thing I learned was it's not how good you are investing, but really it's how well you allocate your assets. So the number one reason why people can build wealth in investing is asset allocation. So that's the most important thing that you need to build. So sometimes kasi we've been chasing the numbers. Kasi let's say one stock can be good for this particular 2 to 3 years and then can perform poorly. The same way with some mutual funds or some even some assets, even property. No? So kasi prior to 5 years atras mo, 6 years, stocks are outperforming properties, di ba? Pero in the last 10 years, properties outperform stock. So these things will always change. So that's why you always have to have enough proper allocation of assets. And then, of course, pag tinamaan mo yung bull run, and then that's good for you. It's gonna happen. Pero to tell you honestly, my perspective ko is I see the market really going to, kasi ano ba definition natin ng bull ngayon, di ba? Kasi iba na di ba? Sobrang nagbago na rin yung definition, bumalik na sa 8,000 bull run na, no? Pero sa akin, we're gonna go back to the 7,000, 8,000 maybe the next 2 years. It's bound to happen yan.
Tapos, pero para sa akin, parang, yung question dapat hindi kailan, kasi cyclical siya, na kung bear siya ngayon, magiging bull siya later on. Parang I think I think a bigger question is, what are you doing in preparing yourself for the bull? And then what will you do also when the bull will happen? And very interesting to. I had a discussion namin ni Salve. Parang nagbago rin yung this whole 4-year period. Nagbago yung pananaw ko about long-term investing. Yung pananaw ko before about buying stocks that are very, very good. Sabi ko, as long as the fundamentals are intact, as long as maganda yung company, hold siya. Pero what I've realized also over the past few years na parang it's okay to take profits when the market's irrationally bullish, kahit maganda pa yung fundamentals niya. Parang I wanna sell kasi if I know it's cyclical, I may not be able to maximize yung pinakaakyat niya, pero I get portions of my return already. Kesa yung parang nanghinaya ka na ang laki na niya tapos bumalik pa ulit siya, hindi ka nakabenta nung higher. So parang a 2023 version of Marvin Germo right now, kahit sa long-term investing, I'm shaving off taking profits on certain stocks already. Hindi rin siya sell everything, pero benta konti habang pag-up siya, and then tira ako ng core.
One thing I learned from one of our speakers, our mentor, si Rex Mendoza. Si Rex Mendoza, ang lagi niya sinasabi, mag-top slice ka. Diba? Kasi minsan may bias pa rin tayo.
Rex Mendoza, by the way, guys, kayo nandito. Yan.
Yan. So, pagka-top slice ka pa rin, that's something that you need to understand. Don't be greedy. Don't be so biased with that. Ako, Marvin, may tanong ako sa'yo. Sabay ba mag-bull run sa tingin mo ang stock sa crypto?
Sakto pala yun. In connection to sa ni Nelson. So ako yung tinitingnan ko, and I've been maintaining this very well, na yung magti-trigger ng whatever bull run that will happen will be liquidity. Nawalan lang kasi ng liquidity nung 2022 because the Fed started to raise rates. Hindi sila maka-quantitative easing. And the reason why umakyat yung market noong 2020, 2021 because there was a lot of excessive money because the Fed was printing. And kasi pag may liquidity, most likely when there's a lot of liquidity, interest rates are very, very low. And walang choice yung mga malalaking, yung people need to realize is yung nagpapaandar ng markets are institutions, large funds. And if interest rates are low, there's no place for them to earn money for whatever intentions they have. That's why they have to put it into different asset classes. So yung flow niya, I think it will go to the stock market and it will go to tech stocks also. And how the tech stocks will go, that's how Bitcoin will follow. So yung usapan na Bitcoin is a hedge, in terms of its characteristic, it's a hedge. But in terms of its price, it follows the tech stocks sa US stock market. So how the Nasdaq would normally go, Bitcoin follows also. So my expectation is if you'd see larger movements sa US market, tech stocks, Bitcoin follows. As Bitcoin follows, ETH follows. As ETH follows, some other altcoins will follow as well. I want to say this also for crypto though, na yung interesting sa crypto is there's tens of thousands of coins already. May mga crypto na nag-crash. Yung problem doon, yung mga crypto na nag-crash ng 99.99%, may malaking chance na pag nag-recover yung iba, baka sila hindi mag-recover, which may not be the case sa stock market. Sa stock market, as long as maganda yung fundamentals niyan, they can recover. Sa crypto, I don't think everything will recover. Not all of it will come back. Kasi pag nag-bull market, may mga bagong crypto tokens naman na lalabas. Yung option ng mga tao is, ano bibilin ko? Yung nag-crash na 99% o yung bagong labas or yung mas reliable already na alam ko na doon 10 years ago. So, when the bull market happens, not everything's gonna recover. Not everything's gonna go up.
Yeah, and you know that the crypto market has really evolved over the years. Kasi dati decoupled siya, di ba? Whatever's happening in the stock market is not really affecting the crypto market and vice versa. Pero ngayon, you can't say that it's decoupled already. It's actually coupling together. So Marvin, my question for you, eto, we talk to a lot of young people. Of course, ako, I have a different perspective. Pero what can you say about investors today, young ones, na pag nag-invest sila, they bypass mutual funds, they bypass stocks, they jump into crypto kagad. What's your take on that?
Mm, it's hard to say if it's right or wrong eh. Uh, kasi kung bata ako, parang, so ganito, nung early 20s ako, sinasabi ng mga tao, risky yung stock market, pero I started investing in the stock market also. Um, I'm okay taking larger amounts of risk when I'm younger. Kasi if I would start it when I'm older also, and I've been a proponent of try mo yung mutual funds, try mo yung stock market, try mo yung crypto, try mo sila sabay-sabay, and then whatever works for you, dun mo damihan yung pera. So I think okay lang, and I also think that I don't know perspective mo, but parang I think mas naintindihan nila yung
Yeah,
crypto
yeah.
parang the ability to understand it. Lalo na yung NFTs, kaya nga nag-mainstream yung NFTs nung 2021 because people understood it. Di nila naintindihan yung crypto, pero naintindihan nila yung NFT segment that's just parang built on top of crypto. Will I do it? I like diversification. Yung pitfall nga lang ng diversifications, you miss a lot of the upside pero you also miss a lot of the downside. Pero I've learned to live with that eh. I'm okay na hindi ko makaka-capture lahat ng upside kasi may portion ako ng portfolio
Yeah.
ko sa assets na hindi masyado gumagalaw. So okay lang sa akin 'yun. So
Pero tsaka Marvin, just to be clear, no? Diversification only work when you have scale already. Kasi kung sobrang liit naman ng pera mo, you cannot diversify. So eventually, that's gonna happen. Kasi it's easy for us. Ako have to be careful because I can say diversify. Pero yung tao mag-i-invest 50,000 pa lang, 100,000 pa lang. That's gonna be very challenging to diversify 50,000, 80,000, or 100,000. So I think you also have to build scale. You have to have enough money, you have to have enough savings, and then eventually you deploy. Or pwede gawin mo so umpisa ka, ito lang, and then yung next mo, that's gonna. When I started, di naman ako diversified eh. Because I didn't have enough money. I'm not a Marvin Guillermo, di ba? College pa lang, marami ng pera. So, then I had to, over the years, I had to build, di ba? Kasi dahil sabihin, dapat may land ka, ma-afford mo bilhin ng land. Di ba? You're 28 years old, di ba? You're barely making ends meet. How can you buy land? So, again, take it with a grain of salt. So, you have to learn how to manage your finances and then build savings and start investing. There's no other way to do but that way. Now, magbabago. Will you go for gold or will you go for land or will you go for Bitcoin? Now, Gino, papasok ngayon yung preference mo, understanding mo, di ba, risk tolerances mo. It does change. And I like to say, what sinabi ni Marvin, pag bata ka, then maybe you can take, di ba? I mean, do I recommend Bitcoin to young people? Of course I do. Why? If they lose their money, they still have parents, di ba? Paano naman kami, di ba? Yan yung problema na yan. So, again, not saying that's also something. By the way, yung joke na yan, Kuya Ricky, so hindi ko yun original. Pero stock market dati ngayon, Bitcoin na yan. No? But that's what I'm my 2 cents with that. Again, if you have any questions, please, no, wag lang kayo makinig sa chismis namin ni Marvin. Ask the questions you would like to answer.
May opinion ka sa Monde, removed from MSCI? Tsaka
Oo,
siguro
bakit?
Do you have an input on that? Do you want to share something on that?
Go ahead. That's your cup of tea.
So sa akin lang naman, what I look at every time there's stocks that are taken out from the index or MSCI index is that tinatrack yan ng mga funds eh. So normally when it's taken out, they will have to remove that also from their portfolio. They'll have to sell it. So there will be at least sell pressure towards it. And then you look at sino yung include nila sa index nila kasi that one will have also buying pressure naman. So ano lang siya, it's just a balancing act also.
And that happens, no? I mean, companies are going to be removed from the index, can be removed, especially if you're not yet on the top blue chip kahit nga blue chip, nalalaglag pa doon, ano? Kasi things change, business models change, companies change, so that's something. But Monde as a company, I like it because, people will always consume the products of Monde Nissin. So,
And
that's a difference.
I think, Paul, what you need to also realize is it doesn't mean na tanggal siya sa index sa MSCI. There's something wrong kagad with the company. And ano rin na, another notion to dispel is people think na pag na-delist also yung company, pangit, or na-delist yung company sa PSE, pangit na yung company or the company is not good or natanggal siya sa index, hindi na siya magandang company. Please remember, especially sa index, hindi kasama sa formula ng pag-compute nila kung sino yung nasa index, kung maganda yung income niya, maganda ba yung balance sheet niya, ano ba yung debt to equity ratio niya. Fundamental parameters are not included on how they compute for yung
Inclusion.
sa index. So it's just a notion na nagkataon lang na yung malalaking companies na magaganda, sila yung
Mas
nasa
malaki.
index. Pero hindi
Yeah.
siya
So in other words, always do your homework.
Totoo. Connect I'll answer this from a stock market perspective, pero baka meron kang 2 cents also. The stock of PLDT is down eh. Malaki yung naging down niya. How do you attribute it sa lahat ng mga nangyari din sa kanya na mga hindi masyadong bullish na news items over the past few months? Do you think it will affect it, and do you still like it also, given na may competitor na sila, yung kay Elon Musk, na you can connect your satellite and then wherever you are, tas ang bilis ng internet na yun? Will that be a threat to it, or how do you see it?
Ako, PLDT is over the years, you'll see stories change, no? Companies that were good 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, it's not a guarantee that they'll still be good today. I mean, what you see in the index 30, 40 years ago, many of them are not in the index anymore, whether here or abroad. PLDT is a good company, but also because it's a good company, just people got old. People got sloppy with what they're doing. Incompetence also got kasi tandaan mo, no, guys, companies are run by people. So you'll see that the fundamentals and everything will ultimately be reflective of what the people are doing inside. So over the years, na-spoiled yan kasi laki ng mga profit margins niyan, ano, and everything. And then of course, people got greedy inside or something, or people were slacking. So that's gonna be the story. PLDT is like a big, huge machine. The problem with huge machines, they see a lot of inefficiencies happening, and eventually it caught up on them. So would I like PLDT? Not so sure. Kasi, di ba, I mean, the reason why people like PLDT is because they keep on giving dividends. But with everything that's happening right now, what kind of dividends can you expect coming from them? And always forward-looking. How will PLDT fare 20 years, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? It's really going to be a challenging. Now, having said that, pwede rin naman kasi because of what happened, they're going to clean up, they're going to fix, they're going to bring back their momentum, bring back their highly competitive, no, things that are happening. Kasi a few years back, PLDT was outperforming TEL. But TEL suddenly changed the way they do things. Diba? So, you see that's going to happen. You just have to watch out what's happening and maybe cover yourself. Baka mamaya, hindi porke mababa si PLDT, mag-all out ka na. So, isipin mo rin may dahilan kung bakit siya mababa.
And I want to say this. Siguro, I think a lot of those things are also sentiment related. Pero, yung earnings niya so far, it's okay. Yung dividends din niya, it's relatively high. So, if you're looking at it from an immediate perspective, mataas yung dividends niya, and yung earnings niya parang backs up yung sa dividends. Yung may point si Randall na what if hindi na siya ganon in the next 4 years or in the next 6 years also, that the dividends may not be as attractive. So I think yun yung concern doon. But if you're after cash flow for the short term, the dividends that it's giving out is somewhat respectable also. Ayan. So you have Fero asking for a discount sa Icon. We have buy one take two promo again.
Yan, okay.
It's in the QR code right. It's in the QR code right here, so you can just look at it. Pero nasa comment section din naman siya.
So again, yung Icon, no, we're doing a promo. Again, thanks to our sponsors for allowing us to do this. They actually, I'll tell you how it works. No? The sponsors actually bought the tickets that we're actually giving on a buy one, take two. So thanks to them because they want you to be there. And it's our gift sa amin, gift namin sa inyo because we're now 10 years. So for the live stream, when you buy your tickets tonight, you pay for one, you get two extra. So 3 people can come. And this is only during the live stream and thanks to our sponsor. QR code is in front of you or the running link downstairs, just click it. Nakiklik ba yan, Marvin?
Di siya nakiklik eh, pero
Okay, sorry.
nakikita lang nila. Do you have an opinion on the global market?
The global market is reflective of what's happening in the globe today. Again, so
Okay.
there's opportunities out there. There are certainly some challenges. So again, it's important to position yourself well, diversify properly, and then ang approach ko lagi sa finance, at this money in general, is offensive and defensive. Offensive, taking opportunities, and there's also defensive, making sure that, diba, at the end of the day, hindi ka aaway na asawa mo, no? Lalo na Mother's Day sa Sunday. First time, celebrate ni Marvin, di ba? I mean, family peace is more important than wealth. Trust me, I've been married for over 30 years.
Okay. Guys, if you're liking this, press the like button, share this also to your friends. Tamo, sinasagot namin lahat ng mga tanong ninyo. I have this question, Randall, in connection to what you said. Yung tanong ko sa global markets is this eh. Parang there's a lot going on right now na parang yung China, other countries, they want to establish their own world currency. Siguro yung question ko, do you see a time in the future na America won't be the largest economy anymore and the dollar may not be the reserve currency, or lahat ng ginagawa nila ngayon parang it won't really matter at all kasi the US will still be dominant as well?
Marvin, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, yan ang topic eh. So every time lumalabas yan, every time it's gonna be an issue. Will the dollar continue to be the world currency forever? Maybe not. Just a chance now because empires rise, empires fall. 100, 150 years, they do change, and with that, they will have the impact of the economy. But here's something I'll tell you. The US will remain to be the the global currency at least during my lifetime. Okay? And guys, I'm nearing 60. So ano ba naman lifetime ko? 20 years na lang. Di ba? So at least yan ang sasabihin ko.
So that means okay ka lang, comfortable ka na iwan sa dollar kasi parang kung ma-depeg man siya or mawala man siya, parang baka wala ka na nun, parang gano'n.
Yeah, probably. Kaya nga diversify pa rin yung portfolio, di ba? I mean, at the end of the day, paulit-ulit tayo na diversify. Kasi dollar is going to be there. It's going to be a use case. The global companies are dollar-based. So that's very important. Their presence. The dollar kasi is not just because it's the US, no? The dollar is it's the derivative of the world economy. Ibig sabihin. So that's something that you need to understand also.
Got it. Ito, sakto, since nag-mention ka ng age. By the way, birthday ni Randall Chongson kahapon, or 2 days
The other day.
2 days ago. Comment, paulanin nyo naman ng happy birthday. Happy 58th birthday or 59th birthday?
56 lang, sobra naman.
56. Happy 56th birthday.
By the way, I just wanted to dispel a lot of people are asking, hindi po kami magkaedad ni Marvin. I know people have asked me that time and time and again. I am way older than Marvin. It just doesn't look like that.
So I'm turning 40 this year, pero ito may age question, and I think from your financial planning background.
So it's a funny, you used to ask me all this age question, but now that you're old, you're part of that already. So people now are calling you Kuya Marvin and stuff like that. So welcome to my world.
So ayan, may question. Si Donsky Poach Salmon IMYZ from Facebook. Hello sir, I'm 42 years old. What percentage should you allocate for conservative balance and equity stocks? So siguro you can answer this from anong ginawa mo nung 40 ka, tapos anong ginagawa mo ngayon na malapit ka na mag-60? Parang gano'n.
Sir, 40 I was very kasi 40 I think a lot of your investments, a lot of your finance is reflective of what you're going through that particular season of your life. At 40, I changed my career. I left the corporate world. I jumped into being an independent. So, iba yung perspective ko at 40. I was reestablishing myself. I was getting myself out of debt. I was parang starting my world as an entrepreneur. So, very, very different perspective at that time. While I was investing, I wasn't investing as heavy as I was in when I was say 45 or 48 or 50. That's because that situation was different at that time. Siguro to answer that pa rin, babalik ka pa rin sa ano ba yung objectives mo sa buhay eh. What's important sa'yo? Objective mo, ano ba yung risk tolerance mo, ano tawag mo ito, yung acumen mo, naiintindihan mo ba yung mga pinapasok mo. I think those are the reasons that you need to understand before you can craft your portfolio. This is portfolio creation eh. While we're telling people to balance, diba? You have high risk, low risk, you balance yourself. Meron, your strategy will be dependent on you, and it will be change. You know, and now that Icon is 10 years now, the Marvin in 2013 is so different than the Marvin today. Why? In 2013, he was a newly married guy, diba? The world is his oyster, very different, and the market was so different back then. Today, di ba, different na siya. Sobrang dami niya ng pera. Pero may anak na siya. Di ba? Yung mga ganun bagay. He's learning how to balance his risks and stuff like that. So, they do change. Your seasons in life will change. And that's reflective. And sometimes kami mga finance people, no? And we apologize in ahead. We're so prescriptive eh. Parang, oh, ito gagawin mo. Ito, this work for me. What worked for Marvin may not work for me. And what worked for me may not work for you. So ultimately, what we try to tell people is we want to educate you. We want to teach you how to do it. We want to give you the fundamentals so that you can create a portfolio that can work for you. Kasi pag tinignan mo yung portfolio ni Marvin, ibang-iba sa amin. Ibang-iba. Kasi sa akin, sobrang simple lang. Kay Marvin, sobrang complicated kasi ang dami niyang pera. So, you see, that's the difference eh. And today, it's different. I mean, you see how different. 5 years ago, Marvin was venturing into being more entrepreneurial. And ako, I wasn't. But today, baliktad. I'm more entrepreneurial now than Marvin was 5 years ago. So these life changes, and what we do with our finances is dictated by what we do in life. It's not the other way around.
Got it. I'll have a short answer lang to it. Yung approaching 40 now, medyo weird eh. I'm taking riskier investments now because crypto is riskier. Pero because I've established also a base from the past years of investing. Pero also, contradictory to what I said, I'm also focusing on investments that are giving me cash flow. So, siguro kaya ako nakakapag-take ng riskier investments because I've parang started something when I was younger. Tapos, I'm trying to focus on investments that will give me cash flow. Pero kung kunyari, tatanggalin ko yung riskier investments, tsaka yung mga pwede mag-zero, I'll be focusing on assets na nagbibigay ng cash flow sa akin. Kasi, siya, ganda eh. It's very, very predictable. Hindi nga lang siya masyadong yung kita, pero it's something
that sexy.
Pwede mo siya tanggalin eh, pwede mo siyang gamitin.
Before sigit ko lang, I'll tell you guys a secret. Hindi na kaya ni Marvin ubusin yung pera niya. That's why he can do whatever you want. Next question.
Ito, right up your alley. Mary Grace Kanyas. I'll put it up lang, tas you can answer. I'll off my camera. I'll lagay ko lang charger ko, baka malobat ako eh. From Mary Grace Kanyas, what if po lubog sa utang ang tao, would you still recommend them to have life insurance?
Yes. Kasi imagine mo, what if something happens to you, di ba? Paano naman yung pamilya mo? So, remember, life insurance is about protection. So, you need to have life insurance. Now, should you buy a VUL? Probably not. Maybe a term insurance will do well for you.
Randall Johnson appears to be frozen. I don't know what happened to him. Are you back? Ayan, nag-freeze.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
I'm just fixing my charger.
So, yun lang. So, saying again, life insurance is important. It's a requirement. It's a need. Pero, manage your debt first. I mean, at the same time, siguro bili mo na life insurance na yung mura, yung kaya mo naman afford, term insurance lang. So that at least will make you a little bit more stable. Yeah. So what? Ano pa ba? Okay, go.
I have a follow-up on that. When you say bili ka ng mura, ano yung considered na murang insurance? Is it mura in terms of ano yung budget nila, or mura in terms of yung coverage na pwede nilang
So,
makuha?
depende sa situation eh. So, when I say mura, you maximize your coverage with the amount of money. And the cheapest insurance that can maximize your coverage with a limited budget is term insurance. So, doon ka muna tumingin kasi may utang ka pa eh, di ba? Huwag ka muna tumingin ng ibang klaseng insurances kasi, di ba, mapapamahal ka tapos di naman malaki coverage mo. So, then that's my recommendation. Now, lubog ka sa utang, kailangan muna magbayad ng utang. Manage your debtors, di ba? Learn how to handle your finances. Think of ways to generate more income. I mean, you have to deal with that. You cannot not deal with that.
Do you want to answer this? Thoughts on VUL, galing naman kay, para connected din sa life insurance, magkatabi lang yung question. I just wanted to put it there. Do you have thoughts on VUL?
You know, VUL has its pros, has its cons. The advantage of VUL, it's convenient. It's having your term insurance and then your investments put into one. The downside of VUL is it can be costly. Can you afford it? May mga charges din yan. So, pero at the same time, VUL is flexible. So again, at the end of the day, I think there's no such thing as a good insurance product or a bad insurance product, but there's a product that fits your need. So babalik ka pa rin, what is your need? Talk to your financial advisor, work with him or her to identify what is in a product that's in your best interest.
Okay. Okay, ito. Good question, not connected to ano. May seating arrangement ba daw sa Icon? Tapos meron bang front?
First come, first serve kami. That's why we recommend people to come in as early as they can, and then they can secure their seats. Yeah.
Grabe, di ako maka-charge. I don't know why. Wait lang, I'll fix. Okay. Another question.
By the way, again, just like, hindi kami pa ulit, no? There's a promo during this live stream. You can see the QR code. This is courtesy of our sponsors. All our sponsors, salamat for allowing to do this. We're celebrating the 10th Icon. And I'll tell you something, di naman sa paulit-ulit ako. Icon, you cannot find a conference that even remotely the same as Icon. It's unique in itself. It's highly empowering, well-curated speakers, best of the best, and you really get your money's worth for that. And ito lang yung bagong change. Like, if you notice that in the Icon, sobrang dami namin speakers. Kasi we're trying this new thing that's happening globally, not just in the Philippines, wherein there are more speakers pero shorter, so that you can really you can maximize exposure for that. So, yan.
Got it. Another question, real estate. Alam ko pag talaga real estate, no. What's the current state of real estate? Is the argument of housing still prevalent? And then yun.
Yeah, the thing with the real estate, the reason why housing is always going to be the reason why housing is
Go first.
The reason I am always going to be bullish with property and particular housing, because unlike many countries, we still are barely meeting the need for housing. I mean, there's just way too many Filipinos without a house. So the market is so huge, even for those who can afford the house. Ang key lang dito is the houses are becoming more and more expensive. So that's a challenge. Pero housing in itself is going to be good, and it will continue to be at least during my lifetime. And maybe also in the lifetime of Marvin. Kasi matanda na rin naman siya.
Sobra. I just want to say, if you wanted more insights sa real estate, that's what David Lichu will talk about. And ang dami siyang ginagawang prediction sa Icon that has been very...
Yeah, grabe, no? Alam mo, over the years, ito maganda itong Marvin, no? Over the years, in the last 10 years, we've had a lot of speakers. Alvin Ang, Diwa Grigondo, Rex Mendoza, David Lichu, if name it, you've been there. There have been predictions that were made during the Icon. Can you remember some of them? Alin doon ang nagkatotoo? Alin din yung sobrang layo na magkatotoo?
Maganda yung sinabi niya about Pogo. He talked about Pogo nung hindi pa uso yung Pogo na nag-take up ng lahat ng real estate space. He said a very, very good prediction about that. So, yun lang, very, very fascinating.
Yeah. How about the others? I remember we talked about where the markets will be at this time. I mean, we're far from that. What do you take on that?
Nagka-COVID eh. Nagka-COVID. Tapos ang daming changes din globally also that brought markets down. Pero if you're talking about we were talking about crypto already. Si Ana Quisha was one of the first big...
Yeah. We introduced we introduced crypto as early as 2017, if you remember it right.
So parang as early as
When
that, we were.
nobody when nobody was talking about it in the conference scene, when very few people thought it was there, Icon was one of the first one to actually feature blockchain technology, and stuff like that. So
So noong 2017, ano pa ako noon? And di pa ako nagka-crypto na, I wasn't really sold onto it yet. Have you heard about this, Randall Chongson? Have you heard about Pepe Coin? And do you think it will replace Dogecoin?
what is it?
Pepe. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of that?
I don't, it doesn't sound very, ano, I don't know. Alam mo, ako, guys, sa totoo lang, I'm really, because I'm old, while I do have crypto, I don't look at all these small altcoins. I only look, sa totoo lang, when you look at my portfolio now, well, I have a few of these here and there, because I listen to somebody or Marvin encouraged me or something. But when you look at my position, it's really heavily Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Parang I didn't really go much because if it doesn't make any sense to me, then I won't get into it. Although, to be fair, I remember Marvin and I were talking online. We were making fun of Dogecoins. I bought some. I like 10x in that Dogecoin. I sold it. But I don't expect that to happen in my positions also.
So ano siya? It's one of the hottest na meme coins over the past few weeks. It's currently going.
Allergic na ako sa mga ganyan.
It's going down already, no. Nag-correct na rin siya, pero it ano yan, bago siya umakyat, a friend already told me to come in. Tapos noong time na yon, one day pa lang siya, umakyat na siya ng sobrang laki. Sabi ko, hindi na, too late na for me. Unbeknownst to me, yun, a few weeks later, tuloy-tuloy pa. And then yung market cap niya,
Pero Marvin,
umabot siya ng more than a billion.
Many of these meme coins and everything correct me if I'm wrong, has liquidity issues, diba? I mean, it's hard to get out when you want to get out.
So unlike yung Pepe kasi, they were able to get into Binance. So pag nasa Binance ka na, ang dami na, wala ka na problema, nasa centralized exchanges ka na, it's easier for you to be able to trade there kasi order book system sila. Yung nahirapan yung ibang mga meme coins, magkaka-liquidity issues if they're doing it via liquidity pool, via DEXs. So medyo, for those na hindi nag-crypto, that might sound a bit technical, pero when it comes into yung mga centralized exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, ganyan, mas madami ng liquidity na yon. So there's more trades also going on pag nasa exchanges, which nagulat din ako. Pumasok siya sa Binance kaya siya nag-hit ng more than a billion, and it went even bigger than some of the legit projects. Yun, and it was there, and it got traded. And siguro Binance also, they look at yung trading volume as to what they would list sa exchanges nila.
Or maybe Binance is an investor there, probably.
Pero wala akong, I missed on that boat. Pero that was, I've seen it become parang massive sources for a lot of people.
I don't know, I'm so old already. I try to stay away from the hot stocks, the hot crypto. It's something I cannot understand. I will not put my money into it. That's me, That's me.
So sabi ko, we'll answer all of your questions, pero we'll just limit it to 12 minutes na lang, the remaining 12 minutes, para we end everything at 9:30. So if you guys have questions, put it down below. Feeling ko kasi some of the questions nasagot na rin naman namin, but some of the unique ones, we'll try to put them up. So ito, medyo unique, hindi pa natin nasagot to. From YouTube naman, si Rehana Emul. Thoughts on saving, putting allotted money for emergency fund on digital banks? And then very current also, because of the issue with GCash, do you think it's safe for them to leave their emergency funds there?
Okay, let's try to identify. GCash is not a digital bank. It's a facility, it's a wallet, no? So and you will see that. I mean, guys, sometimes na-overhype lang, banks na go offline, 'di ba? I mean, that happens. One time I was in a bank that suddenly they couldn't accept any payment deposit because it was offline. I mean, that happens. Anything that deals with technology will have problems. Does it mean it's not safe? No, it's safe. Now, do I put emergency funds? Do I recommend putting emergency funds in digital? Why not? Diba? Digital banks are banks. They're covered by PDIC. If you keep it up to 500,000, it's secured, it's insured. And then some of these banks are big enough. And that's a good idea. And you can take advantage of high interest rates that you can never find anywhere. So, I'm all for that. But here's something that you need to understand once you put money in digital bank. You be prepared na may hassle pulling it out from that. Kasi remember, most of the digital banks, dadaan yan sa InstaPay or ano man, na may limit yan. Kadalasan 50,000 lang yan limit yan in one day. So, alam mo for the fact na pag nilagay mo lahat ng emergency funds mo in a digital bank, then you're gonna be limited to withdrawing just up to 50,000 for one day. Paano kailangan mo 300,000? So, just going into that, you should know your limitations and the limitations of digital banks.
And I think hindi lang siya sa withdrawal pati paglagay sa GSave, may certain limit ka lang na pwede ilagay. So, it's not like other banks na
Coming into GSave, tama. Coming into GSave, at least wala atang limit. Getting out, yun ang problema mo.
Okay. Got it. May
Or I
request.
don't know. Maybe because si Marvin, they put millions in digital banks. I don't know.
Is there a possibility for Icon Davao from Mariel Cañas?
There are plans. If you're gonna guys, you're gonna help us rally people to
Icon
go
Davao.
Icon Davao, and then Iloilo also is one thing that we're looking at. So Iloilo, Davao, or both. Prior to 2019, prior to the pandemic, Marvin and I were doing icons in many places. Actually, nakakamiss din. I mean, unlike Marvin, I still like to travel. So,
how about, is there a dress code for Icon? Mga questions very diverse. Dress code
kasi
for
bawal na nakahubad, di ba? So, dress modestly. Wala
Okay.
naman.
Got it.
Alam mo, over the years also, Marvin, we've kind of dressed down with Icon, no? Pansin mo? We've begun to dress down also. I remember the first year, we were on suits and everything, but it's kind of changed. Now I'm thinking, should I go into a suit or not? So, I'll think about that. So,
From Laura Giliego, Facebook. Hi po, what's a better option? Housing amortization, bank
wow,
loan?
yan
Better po ba
ang mga
doing
real stories ngayon.
giving up principal payment as well? Thank you po.
Okay, so I think we're coming to that point because of the high interest rates. Alam mo, Marvin, bank loans today for housing has gone up to as much as 10.5 to 11%. So, kunyari, nag-housing loan ka, tapos nag-end na yung 3-year lock mo, binigay sa'yo na 5.5, 5.8, 6%. Ngayon, pag nirenew yan, nasa 8, 9, 10, 11% na yan. So, tataas talaga amortization mo. So, be prepared for that. So, here's what you can do. Do you have savings? Do you have enough money? And are you bothered by the high interest rates? Then maybe you can take out the loan if you have enough money. If not, you have to really suck it in and recalculate your finances. Kasi malaki tinaas. Like ako, I still have I only have one housing loan. I think I'm stretched to the last 2 years. And I got a message from my bank that it's 10.3 something. So, ang laki. So, nag-iisip ako, do I unload some investments to that? Pero ito yung problema. Diba? If you take a loan towards the end their part, your principal na binabayaran mo, you already pay the interest rate. So, parang, it doesn't make sense for me to pay out at this point in time. So, those are the things that you need to consider.
And I think people need to realize na pag nag-loan kayo sa bangko, sa first half ng loan mo, pupunta madami sa interest rate yun. Sa interest yun. So, mas maganda dun kayo mag-top up lagi ng para diretso principal.
Yeah.
When you're above the parang halfway line already, majority ng interest na bayaran na yun eh. So, it goes to principal na.
Yeah. Like ako, last 2 years na. It doesn't make any sense. No? Pero galit na sa'yo si Liana, narinig ko na. Maingay. Sorry, Liana. Maingay si Tito Randel.
7 minutes to go. Ito naman, I'll just comment. Sabi ni Jose Solido, totoo no, na it's relatively slower compared to other protocols than like say XRP or other ano na naka-proof of stake. Pero yung merit kasi ng Bitcoin is that you have something that's decentralized and secure. You don't have that in other networks that are more centralized in nature. So yung merit ng Bitcoin is you can't shut Bitcoin down. Other networks could be shut down. Other networks could be censored. Hindi nangyari.
I just want to throw perspective Kasi matanda na ako. Alam mo ba dati, bibili ka ng stocks, tatawag mo yung broker mo, tapos yung broker mo minsan di mo ma-contact. Diba? Bago niya ma-execute, nahuli ka na, and then iintayin mo pa yung paper darating sa'yo, babayaran mo after 3 days, Pag binenta mo, it will take you 3, 4, 5 days to do that. Kung makontak mo. So, speed is relative. Diba? I mean, that's a relative thing. Now, if you, the thing is, people are so in a hurry. Madagdagan na ng 15 seconds yung transaction, 30 seconds, parang it's the end of the world. So, just
Good perspective.
perspective lang yan.
Good perspective. True or false lang daw, kay Villanueva, equities outperform bonds after 10 years. I'd say true, ikaw.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, bonds are doing really good now because of the high interest rates. Pero everything is
10 years
normal.
10 years.
Yeah, probably. Ang tagal ko na nag-i-invest, no? That's not actually always true. Pero should be. I mean,
Should be. Okay.
should be, but I wouldn't bet on it all the
Okay.
time.
Will the Chinese yuan be adopted?
No. People will always distrust China. So that's the problem. They might be a strong economy. They can be. But again, it's not just China that propels the world. There's always going to be a distrust of China. So at least not in my lifetime. Maybe
Got it.
not even Marvin. Kasi matanda na rin si Marvin.
Hello to you, Kang. Interesting question. Do you anticipate a banking crisis in the Philippines? If not, how responsibly do you
No.
the
The
money of
banks, alam mo, I'll tell you a little bit story, no? In 1997, the financial crisis, a lot of these banks in our neighbors did really well. The Philippines was really insulated we were insulated in 1997, we were insulated in 2008. You know why? Number one, we have a very good, in fairness, we have one of the best central banks in the world. Highly independent, they're really good at what they're doing. But kasi we're also very conservative, meaning to say we don't do things other banks does. So highly conservative, highly protective, and also just to be truth to be told, banks, ang taas ng margins ng banks sa Pilipinas. They can win ang laki talaga ng margins nila. They're highly profitable. That's why they will continue to be safe. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be good for us kasi, 'di ba? But as consumers, pero the banks are the Philippine actually, I make this qualified statement. Philippine banks are actually more stable than even the banks from the first world.
And because kasi ang laki ng reserve ratio sa Philippines eh. So hindi yun yung meron sa US na lahat linalabas nila, pinapahiram nila. I think that's one of the reasons for it.
We're highly protective. So that's good. Plus, the banks are really profitable.
Tsaka Chinese. Tsaka, I want to say this na nung nag-COVID, nag-lockdowns, nung may uncertainty sa economy, walang natakot sa banking system natin. It was not one of the issues eh. Yung ibang sectors pa yung mas natakot yung mga tao, pero sa banks, it wasn't an issue altogether.
Si Marvin lang kasi daming pera sa bangko.
Hindi to
Kami okay lang.
O, tamo, ibang klase yung pool mo, Mr. Randall Chongson, pati mami ko nanonood. Happy Mother's Day.
Hello, tita. Happy Mother's Day, tita Lulu.
Ito, may question. Icon-related question. By the way, lalabas ko yung QR code habang nakaano yan. Pwede ba daw nag-online class habang nasa Icon? Guys, this is the QR code for Icon. Okay lang ba? Will you be offended?
Pwede naman. Basta mag-ano ka lang. Mag-earpiece ka lang. Di ba?
Okay. So, pwede naman daw. So, you can attend.
Wag mo i-on yung speaker mo. You know, pet peeve ko na lately because I've been traveling na again. People just don't use their earpiece. Whatever. Nasa airport ako, ingay-ingay kasi naka-speakerphone yung telepono, stuff like that. So, there's such a thing as earpiece. So, invest in a good earpiece.
So pwede daw. Okay, anyways. Ito, I'll fix it. Sir, how many stocks should I put in my portfolio? Lots of good companies are very promising in the future, but it's hard to manage, especially if you're going to buy and allocate which stocks to add more. So,
natatawa ako, no? Because dati kaya ko na marami ngayon, ayoko na marami binabantayan. So, personally, I shifted out of individual stocks. I just have index funds and equity funds there because perspective ko kasi I can make more money doing other things. And just, probably keep a few that Marvin Guerrero tells me. But at the end of the day, the amount of stocks that you should keep is relative to your ability and capacity to monitor, to study, to review it. If you can If you're one of those people that you can review 30 stocks, then, di ba, it can work for you. But if you can't, maybe 2, 3, that's enough. I don't know,
Got it.
maybe, Marvin, what's your perspective there?
Nagbago kasi, nagpaiba-iba yung sa akin. There were times na I would focus na mas konting stocks ko. Pero ngayon, I have more now. Tapos mas diversified now than siguro say 4 or 5 years ago also. So,
Yan, kasi daming pera.
it depends siguro sa preference. At saka nagbago rin yung style ko. For example, for long-term investing, yung ginagawa ko, hindi naman kasi lahat ng stocks umakyat sabay-sabay. So, ginagawa ko yung down sa portfolio, that's what I buy. And then I try to sell the ones that are up na doon ako nagte-take profits. So, by the time na naubos ko ng ibenta yung nag-up, yung dating down, siya naman yung up ngayon and I'm buying something else. So, it works for me na madami yung
Yeah.
So, mas dumami lately. Hala, 9:30 na. Would you want to answer this? Is financial freedom a requirement before getting married? And alam ko mahilig ka sa mga ganyang mga questions eh. Mahilig ka sa mga family related.
Actually, alam mo, yan yung mga ganyang questions, parang sobrang Instagram yan, sobrang TikTok yan. Financial freedom, again, how do you define financial freedom, di ba? I mean, sa akin, as long as you're stable, I mean, hindi mo gugutumin yung pamilya mo, hindi mo ibabaon sa utang yung pamilya mo. I'd say, getting married, yes, finance is concerned, but it's really more about emotional maturity, spiritual maturity. That's more important at the same time, okay, financial freedom. So, that's why some people are so confused. So, hindi ko nga maintindihan kasi minsan sabi sa kanila parang kailangan may bahay na, kailangan, di ba, 8, 7 digits na ang pera sa bangko bago mag-asawa. Tapos ayan, 60 years old na, hindi na makapag-asawa. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really something that you think about, concern. Now, sa akin, yes, dapat may stability of income, di mo gusto yung pamilya mo. Pero hindi naman to that point na bago ka mag-asawa, tapang para ka Marvin Guillermo, di ba? 4 na bahay, di ba? Sobrang dami ng investment fund. So, may mga ganun tao. But depende na yan. Ako, hindi ako ganun. And you know, while I want my kids getting married, hindi naman sila ganun din eh. So,
Ito, I would ask this, pero may asawa na yung daughters mo, pero kunyari, nung single pa sila, okay lang ba sa'yo, big deal ba kung yung nanliligaw may kotse or wala? And then big deal ba na mas mataas yung sweldo ng anak mo na babae versus yung nanliligaw sa kanya? Would that be an issue?
well, honestly, to be honest, no, it's never been an issue with me. Sa akin kasi, I really trust the judgment of my kids. Honestly, syempre, di ba, wino-worry ko. Kaya nga nung nagpaalam sa akin yung, you know, just when my 2 daughters got married, before proposing, their husbands had to talk to me. And we had this conversation about their finances, how, sabi ko, di ba, I mean, mga anak ko, hindi ka naman sinasabi na spoiled yan, but, you know, they have a certain lifestyle that they grew up to. While saying they might not experience the same lifestyle when they get married, pero ang sa akin lang is ayoko gutom yung mga anak ko and everything. So that's why when I look at what's important for me, Marvin, is not their bank account. What's more important for me is their character. If I'm okay with their character, I know their finances will follow. And the good thing about my son-in-laws is that they're financially able. No? Una, they've been attending Icon. Alam ba, yung son-in-law ko, may picture kami, estudyante pala siya, umaattend na siya ng Icon. Hindi pa niya kilala si Gabi, hindi pa niya, we have a picture with you, Marvin, si Dan. We already have a picture na, by the way, inaanak ni Marvin yon. Hindi pa talaga bigyan na. Anyway, so ayun, we had already a picture. So they've been attending Icon, they've been attending our seminars way back. So yun lang. So that's important. Pero to ask your question is, yes, importante, pero hindi yan deal breaker. At least, stability lang.
Got it. So hindi siya ganun ka important na ano, parang stability.
Importante siya pero hindi siya deal breaker, meaning to say. Yeah.
Got it. COVID rising, is that an issue? Yes, no?
Sa akin, ano na yan eh. I mean, the WHO even said it's not a pandemic anymore. It's a god. So, I've learned, kasi people have been exposed to that. COVID today is like getting a flu. Parang, I think, while it's a concern for some people, I see more masks today, but parang we're learning how to live with it. So, well, the economy, I don't think the economy is going to respond negatively with the rising COVID.
Okay,
Plus,
mabilis.
it's a relative
Kasi,
statement, 5,000 out of 100 plus millions.
got it. Mabilisan na lang. REIT or rental property? From Eliazar.
Okay. Ngayon ako rental property because we're into that. Pero siguro later on when I'm retired, probably go green. Kasi ayoko na ng sakit ng ulo. May sakit ng ulo din ng rental property.
Ako, yung advantage mo kasi compared to yung katulad namin na tao is building nyo eh. So, pero parang for me, parang buying a condo right now, tapos yung yield mo 4%, parang mas kikitain ko siya sa REIT compared to buying a condo.
Pero kasi
hindi
kasi Marvin, you have to also consider another thing also, people understand properties more than they do understand stocks. So that's why there's going to be a bias towards it. And second, yung capital appreciation, that's something you consider. Diba?
Got it. May konting announcement for
Meron
token.
rin to, may cultural issue din yan, yung mga ganyan.
Okay. Ano pa ba? Gusto mo mag-answer? Ang dami pa, or do you want to end this na?
So ano lang, I just announced that patapos na tayo, matatapos na rin yung promo natin. So again, we're having a buy one, take two. Meaning to say, if you buy one ticket, you're going to be given two extra tickets you can use. You can give to whoever, you can assign it to whoever. This is made possible by our sponsors. It's only for this live stream. Yan lang. Para pa ulit tayo, no? This is the QR code. Just put in your phone. Kunin nyo yan. Or, I think Marvin has a link naman there. So, yeah.
Yep, it's in the description also below. Sige, we'll just end this. We'll just end this. Siguro, do I answer this? May insurance po ako.
Hindi na iiyak si Liana. Okay, so.
Tulog na. Tinigil ko po siya kasi nag-decide ako to diversify sa dividend paying stock mutual fund dividends. Tama po ba yun? Would you is that worth commenting or very personal na sa kanya yun na based on
sa akin pag-isipan mo yung decision mo kasi tandaan mo, insurance for me, it's never been an investment. Insurance is a protection tool. So, titingnan mo, are people dependent on your income? Kasi if people are dependent on your income, then that's something that you have to consider and you need to buy that. So pwedeng mag-resume ka ulit, buy ka na lang uli ng insurance kasi, that's it's always going to be a good idea. Now, will I see that insurance is going to be the best way to grow wealth? Yeah. But it's the best way to protect wealth. Okay.
Thoughts on Axie? Ano na yung Axie?
May Axie pa ba?
Yung reward token niya na SLP, it's down eh. So yung motivation for people to play it to earn, wala na siya dun eh. There are some people that play pero those are parts of guilds na lang. So yun.
Tapos na yung Axie, that's it.
I think they have to do something with the game. Madaming pera yung Sky Mavis, the company that built it. If they do something with the game na lalaruin ng mga tao and then there will be a demand for the token, pwede. Pero there's a lot of variables in between para mangyari yun eh. So
yeah. I asked my son who plays Axie, as he finds it a boring game. So.
And hindi siya parang people went to it dahil sa concept of earning, hindi talaga dahil sobrang cool niya.
There's no propelling reason. Icon La Union, unlikely, pero you can check my cafe in La Union, in San La Union. Sorry. Mano Cafe, 161 West. Barangay Urbisto, La Union. Joke lang.
Sponsor pa ng Icon yun. So may kapita. Kung gusto nyo,
you can now try. You can try my coffee Icon kasi I want to put a booth there. Pop-up booth so that you don't have to be in La Union kasi I'm opening up, ito lang, a little change. It's funny, no? A few years back, you were talking about entrepreneur and ako, I wasn't doing a lot of it. But years after, I'm doing more enterprising stuff than you now. Basta I have a cafe in La Union. I'm opening up two in Baguio. Target is end of May or beginning of June. We'll have the two cafes in Baguio. I'm opening up one here in QC. And if things do well, maybe one in Iloilo.
Grabe. Kaya yan yung ng sobrang yaman. So,
pero di pa kumikita. So, sana kumita na siya.
sa mga nag-log in lang ngayon, I'll play the video for Icon first, and then Randall will like have a closing speech, and then you can put all of your messages, and then we'll see if we'll answer it on the comment section na lang below. So I will just show this, and then we'll end, and then Randall closing speech, whatever you want to say.
There's no perfect investments, and that's the reason why there's Icon. People are going to talk to you about stocks, people talk to you about funds, people talk about the VOL, people talk to you about properties, people talk to you about business. We even have blockchain later on. Why? We need you to understand that there's no one perfect formula. That's why you have to diversify your investment. Very, very important as you learn all of these things is this. Practice due diligence in anything. In investing, in a bank, in an insurance, in a property, practice due diligence.
There is a law, natural law called the law of diminishing returns. So even if I add more, it will diminish because the capacity has to expand before you can expand.
Ano yung importante sa'yo? Walang tama o mali dito. Unfortunately, dahil nga sa ingay sa labas, hindi mo alam kung anong gusto mo talaga at importante sa'yo. Pag wala ka nito, sasama ka sa ibang tao. Kung ano importante sa kanila, join ka din. So it is very important to find out ano ang gusto mo because eventually, lahat yan nanggagaling sa beliefs.
The economy was created to serve society in order to improve our human condition. So as part of the economy, as investors, you're supposed to be contributing to a better society for everyone.
Leverage is a very aggressive strategy. Proceed with caution. Never borrow money that you cannot pay. Yes. And I think this is just to open your minds about leverage, and this is really how the wealthy businessman thinks.
It is only by tracking your finances you'll be able to know how to maneuver, how to control, and you'll see ano ba yung lifestyle mo that you want to maintain from today until you age.
What we are good at in the market is this. We are good at helping incubate the growth of vendors because we know everybody in the ecosystem. We know people who finance, we know people who provide HR, we know people who provide marketing, we know people who provide sanitation and hygiene. So we are the best people to grow those businesses.
So, why is understanding money critical for women, OFWs, and the next generation? Why? Because what is a nation but a collection of its people?
It's about our personalities, and it has a deep and it has a big impact in everything that we do, including how we handle money, including how we make decisions, and how we keep money, make money, save, and actually invest.
So stocks, recurring assets, recurring income assets, and fast capital appreciation assets. Those are the three things that we have to hold during our lifetime and work for. The second thing is, I'm very excited about the future. I am not bullish because there are many other things we have to sort out before I become bullish, but the future looks very bright.
Financial expert here, just like Marvin, just like Rex, Carl, Jason, the rest of the team, they could update you. But I strongly advise that you also take your personal journey. Read their books, try to read, try to expand your knowledge.
I want whatever is said here will cause you to execute and do something. Because it's time for Filipinos, it's time for you guys to prosper. Why? Because we're the 1% eh. Your friends are looking at you eh. The more Filipinos, good Filipinos, have more than enough, you get to be a blessing to the people around you eh. When you have more than enough, you're now looking for people who you can bless and who you can so. And for me, the stock market is one of the best ways for you to do it. I suggest you invest now because this is one of the best times to invest.
Overcoming obstacles create momentum. Today is momentum. You know why? You paid money for this seminar. It starts something. It is starting something because you're creating something that gets the ball rolling.
Okay, Mr. Chongson, take us home.
Yeah, okay. So again, salamat, no? I mean, just to tell everybody, we're so thankful for all the support throughout the years. We are doing our 10th year. Things have changed. We got older. Will we still do Icon next year? I don't know, honestly. But it's something I gotta tell you. We put Icon because we believe that we can empower people, we can educate people, we can encourage people. Icon has changed. We have changed. Marvin has changed. I have changed. We got older. Hopefully, we got wiser. And along the way, that journey is very important for us. We Our icon was never about money making for us. It's never about, you know, para sumikat kami, or it's never about that. It's all about empowerment of the Filipino, and we believe that we've done that over the years. We've brought it to many places, and we continue to do that. It will change the way we do things. We've even experimented with an online in 2021, I believe. But we want to do it because we believe that change can happen. When a lot of people are so fearful, hindi nila alam gagawin nila, I'll tell you, do not give up hope, but there's always an opportunity to shine and to change and be prepared. And that's what Icon is all about. So I hope to see you. Again, the promo that we're having right now is only made available during this live stream, and it's because of the generosity of our sponsors. I won't mention who the sponsors are, they're in our posters, and I want to thank you. And again, I'd like to personally to personally to honor Marvin for believing in me with this project. 10 years ago, when I wasn't so sure whether we can think, Marvin was the driving force to push me into doing Icon. And today, Marvin is one of the biggest names in the industry, and I'm so happy to see all his growth. And again, maybe it's gonna share Ethereum and Bitcoin to you. Just give your wallets. Kabiro lang. But again, promo code, you buy one ticket, you're gonna get two for free only during this live stream. Again, Marvin, thank you for hosting this live stream.
Yep. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights also. So maybe we'll open it a few more hours after this live stream, pero I don't think it will be for 24 hours, but during this for this live stream lang. So the links are down below. Thank you so much, Mr. Randall Chongson, for joining us. And to everyone, put it down below if you have more questions, and then I'll try to answer it offline, or if not, we'll do another live stream also leading up to Icon as well. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you all. Have a great night ahead. So thank you and good night, everyone. Bye bye.